4 goals, 3 penalties. Let's talk about it for an hour. Welcome to Blue Monday, an Ipswich Town podcast. Dave, I think that's 12 points in 11 games. Are Ipswich Town in form?
Well, that would sort of kind of say, given the relative
context
is what I was looking for, would say we are, really, wouldn't it? Yeah, that's really good. And a very, very, I'd say satisfying, albeit with a slight tinge of disappointment for the last 2 games.
You'd have taken it before the game. I'm sure we'll get on to that. Mikey Penty-Smith, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, screw the football. Congratulations, mate.
Thank you, Ben. Yeah, cheers. Yeah, this is my second podcast appearance in a week. So yeah, the accusations will probably come flying my way that I'm dodging responsibilities here. But no, I'm juggling. I'm trying to do it all.
And you there today?
I was there today, yeah. Really enjoyable away day, Fulham. Quite an easy one for me to get to. And yeah, a really good performance, really good atmosphere from the Ipswich fans. And yeah, plenty of reasons to be positive.
Welcome everybody to Blue Monday, an Ipswich Town podcast. We are live each and every Sunday here on the Blue Monday YouTube channel. If you're listening on audio, we still absolutely love you. Whether you're doing the washing up, be careful doing the washing up. Whether you're on the treadmill, be careful on the treadmill. If you're driving, just everybody be careful wherever you're listening. But do think about coming here each and every Sunday and joining the live chat, which you can see is flowing very, very nicely. Get your views in and we will put some of your questions to Mr. David Diamond, Mr. Mikey Penty-Smith as we go. Dave, honestly, I was a negative Nancy before the Chelsea game. I was like, we're not going to get any points for another 6 games. And we've got, as Rob there in the chat right on cue, thank you, Rich, says 4 points from these 2 games. That has changed my complexion a lot. Has it changed yours?
Yeah, definitely. I think we sat here last Sunday, didn't we? And I think we were sort of scratching after the Arsenal was last Sunday, wasn't it? You use track, don't you? Scratching our heads, looking at the fixtures, thinking, well, it's a good performance against Arsenal. Let's say a much needed change of formation, certainly for a game like that. We came out of it relatively unscathed as such, although we obviously lost. But yeah, I think it was beyond our wildest dreams that if we had taken 4 points in this game, these 2 games, I kind of expected it would have maybe been the other way round, and not how we've managed to achieve it. But no, Chelsea was fantastic, and yeah, I really think you could see we took that confidence and certainly organisation into the game today.
To Martin in the chat there, the term fine margins will definitely be being used later for particular Jack Clark inspired event. Mikey, it feels like the floor and the ceiling are very narrow now. We've got clarity on this is either going to be a team that just survives or just gets relegated. It feels like there's 2 or 3 positions. They're not going to be abject relegated. They're not going to survive by miles. But we've said on the podcast a lot, Mikey, just keep in touch. And yes, Wolves play tomorrow and they have a red hot strike. He's suspended now, isn't he? More on that, I'm sure, in the questions. But we're out of it on goal difference. We're 1 point off Everton. Transfer window's open. More on that later on. But this is all right, isn't it?
Yeah, it's probably where most of us were hoping or expecting us to be this season. Realistically, we were never going to be flying way clear of the relegation zone early on in the season, especially with the start that we had. So to be in touch with some teams ahead of us, and we've got a good cushion on the team that's bottom. So it's only really two places that we're trying to avoid, isn't it? And yeah, the last few weeks suggest that we've got enough about us to at least stay in this position for the rest of the season. And then we've always got a chance.
Yeah, I think, was it you last week, Dave, or was it Joe? One of the 2 of you said, just get above Leicester, first of all, and then be in touch and get above Leicester. And here we are, and it could have been even better.
It was Joe Fair's positivity, obviously, wasn't it? Not me. It was Joe. That was certainly Joe. I'm not claiming
Tony
that.
Robbins of the Blue Monday podcast.
That's all down to Joe. Yeah, no, and absolutely right, and it's exactly what we've done. Crikey, they were showing the live table at one time, and he began to get very giddy with like, I don't know what would it have been, 10 minutes to go, but look, it is what it is, and you're right, we're in touch. We've had a great last couple of games. Well, perhaps. Yeah, great run as you said. Perhaps from the Wolves game, what's that? 6 games, 2 wins, 2. Yeah. So balances itself out. So yeah, I think we just take this confidence into these. Obviously again, just tricky games coming up after the Bristol Rovers Cup tie.
And he didn't hear that bit. Great point from Gord in the chat down there. Yeah, a big win for Forest tomorrow night, and we would be out of the bottom 3. Mikey, here is your Ipswich Town 11 for the away game at Fulham. I haven't been on the podcast since the return of Christian Walton in goal. Maybe that will come up in the questions. A back 3 of Dara O'Shea of 3-5, whatever, use whatever terms you're comfortable with. Luke Wolfenden and Jacob Greaves, with wing backs Leif Davis and Ben Johnson. In central midfield, Coast and Morsey. More from him later. Smodic and Nathan Broadhead be still my beating heart. Liam Delap, Ole. What's your thoughts on that 11, Mikey?
Yeah, I guess the main decision was whether you go with Ben Johnson or Wes Burns over in the right wing back position, and we've obviously gone for a little bit more defensive solidity in Johnson. And yes, Smodic's regaining his place. Obviously, Amari Hutchinson being out injured was a real blow, but it's nice to be able to bring in a player of Smodic's quality, and Broadhead keeping his place as well, which was well deserved after his performance against Chelsea. And yeah, a really good performance. We'll speak a little bit more about Nathan Broadhead as this podcast goes on, but I think he was probably in with the shout of being our man of the match today. Really good performance from him, and an important time as well with the injuries that we've picked up in the attack and midfield winger positions.
Dave?
Yeah, agree with all that. Just a shame that I think it sort of broke this morning that Hutchinson was going to be out seemingly with a groin strain, although albeit it doesn't seem too bad. I think maybe McKenna alluded to post-match.
Kind of a break coming up, Dave, as well.
Kind of a break
coming. It's a good time for it to.
Yeah.
It's going to happen,
is one.
Right?
Yeah. No, it is. So yeah, no surprise. Smodic's coming in for him. Burns, who I thought did very well against Chelsea, but again, no great surprise. Perhaps a more defensive-minded Johnson came in, and I've got to say, Johnson probably, along with Broadhead, I thought was probably our best. Yeah, probably our best couple of players on the day. He was absolutely, well, as Neil said there, it was absolutely superb, and almost nicked. Well, we'll get onto this. Almost nicked the goal, for goodness sake. It's not there for that.
Stop it. Keep track, guys. We've already had 2 man of the matches. I reckon the boys are going to pick about 7 during the course of the next 20 minutes as they go over the game. Here's your Fulham 11. And Dave, I remember chatting to you when I first saw Fulham, and it dawned on me that Premier League players are either physically ridiculous or technically ridiculous, or even worse, both. So here's your Fulham 11. Leno, Diop, Anderson, Bassi, Robinson, Castagna, Lukic, Kenny, we're still facing him. Wilson, Jimenez, and Iwobi, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good side. They're having a good season, a really good season, aren't they? Had a great result at Chelsea over Christmas, didn't they? I think Boxing Day was a brilliant result there. I must admit, judging from the first game when we saw them back in, when was that? Crikey. August, September, was it? August,
September, yeah.
Yeah, a bit warmer then. I was pleased to see the Man Mountain Express train that is Adama Traore on the bench. Although he obviously came on about the 80th minute, and his arms just made me laugh. I was watching him with Jordan, my son, and we just laughing at his bulging arms as he came on the pitch. It's just the man's an absolute mountain, isn't he? But no, good side, having a great season. As you say, Kearney. I bet Kearney's still not 30, is he? I don't know. How old do you think Tom Kearney is?
Keep going, and I'll tell you.
Seemingly been around absolutely forever. I mean, it's a good side there. Harry Wilson, Iwobi, good, but obviously him.
33, Dave.
Is he 30? Okay,
yeah.
Okay, there you go. He has been around forever then. Yeah, it's just a good experienced side who are having a really good season. So, yeah, beforehand, I think ultimately we'd be pleased with the outcome. But anyway, we'll get there.
Oh, how I laughed, Dave. One of my Fulham mates was exchanging texts with me this morning. He said, well, I'm looking forward to seeing Delap play. And I literally typed half of, that guy's got elite physicality. Remembered that Traore played for Fulham and didn't type the rest of the message. It was like,
there's
is
physicality, then there's Adama Traore, isn't it? My
you
God.
love him. You love him, don't you, Dave? Look at the size of that man, Mikey. How do we start? Start me up, mate. Start me up.
I think I said on the live reaction show after the Chelsea game that the game doesn't kick off when the referee blows his whistle. The game starts when Liam Delap first makes contact with an opposition centre-back. And this time he unfortunately wasn't able to. I told my Fulham mate, watch out for him. He'll smash into the first Fulham centre-back that gets a touch of the ball. But he didn't get that far. I think he smashed into Lukic.
He didn't go
because he stood in his way, so he's just clotheslined him. At some point, he's probably going to get a booking for something like this. But yeah, it was quite a exciting first 10 minutes. But then we did settle into our pattern, which was basically just getting as many men behind the ball as possible, sitting really deep and just frustrating Fulham, because Fulham have had some fantastic results this season, but they've also found it difficult to break down some teams that have sat back and played pretty defensively against them. Southampton just a couple of weeks ago went there and managed to get a 0-0 draw. So with Delap up front, we've always got a chance of nicking a goal if we're doing that. And to be fair, the first half an hour we looked really comfortable. Jimenez wasn't getting much change out of our three centre backs, and Delap was sort of looking dangerous every time that he got near the ball as well. But yeah, not well organised, and keep getting ourselves in the game and just staying there for as long as possible.
Muck about with Liam Delap and find out, Mikey, says Pete in the chat. Dave, as Mikey was talking there, I mean, I think this a lot. I love Kieran McKenna. But I was just thinking, I love Kieran McKenna because we needed to get to January and someone to be coming on the podcast and saying, yeah, we went away. We sat in. We had our three at the back. We made it really hard for him. We knew he needed to figure out and teach the players how to do this at Premier League level. And again, we've joked about Mick McCarthy and Kieran McKenna and full circle and context and the players you're doing it with and the other style, maybe the other string to your bow. But it's great that he's now built this strategy that we can use in away games.
No, it really is. And ironically, it probably came from the Newcastle home defeat. I mean, yes, we'd played this way, I think, at Spurs away, hadn't we? Maybe at Man City, perhaps write that off right at the start of the season. But I think at Spurs away, we certainly hadn't, I don't think, since then. And perhaps the home result, just before Christmas against Newcastle, we probably would have played that formation, let's face it, at the Emirates. But was perhaps the sort of shot across our bows that was needed. That, hey, look, perhaps we are being a bit too expansive. But look, to play that way, you need an outlet and a unit as good as Delap up front, and it just suits it absolutely perfectly. And now you do, and runners off him, where the likes of sort of Nathan Broadhead has stepped in seamlessly in the last couple of games and is becoming that player really, and Hutchison and to a degree today, obviously Smodics as well.
There you go. Let's go to the opening goal then, Dave. We'll stick with you. I want to hear about he's a Broadhead with classy cross in there. I want to hear about the finishing of Sammy Smodics, who is the guy you want it to fall to. And for our mate Johnson, get forward, get in the way, don't be offside. Good job.
It's absolutely brilliant. I think it plays built down the left. Davis, as usual, gets a touches inside a Broadhead. Quite advanced, actually. I think he's like on very much the apex on the edge of the 18-yard box, left side, and it's just a lovely cross. And it's a chipped ball with a bit of curve. Johnson, brilliant. Johnson, I think I'm not sure where he out jumps. Maybe be Lukic. I'm not sure. But anyway, Johnson stayed up there. Great jump. Bit unlucky. Wins a header. Comes down off the underside of the bar.
Come off the defender, Dave.
I'm going to say it. Looks like a bit of both there for Neil. This is for Neil in the chat. Looks like a bit of both there. You're right. Perhaps it does. But anyway, Johnson is there. And then it's crap from Bassi, who is, it's awful, isn't it? Very similar, a bit similar to perhaps the kind of the Greaves clearance against Villa. That sort
of. It's way worse, Dave.
Right, no, the similar sort of circumstance. He doesn't get out of the box. He just absolutely just doesn't make any. And he's huge, Bassey, isn't he? You think if he makes contact, the ball's back over the halfway line, isn't it? But he doesn't. And fair
in West
play.
London somewhere.
Yeah, he is, isn't it? Smodics doesn't mess with it, does he? Lets it bounce a couple of times and absolutely larries it towards goal. And it deflects in off the unfortunate Bassey just to compound his sort of 10, 20 seconds there. And yeah, just brilliant smash and grab. We were growing into the game, as Mikey said. By that point, we were starting to grow into the game. But yeah, absolutely superb.
Deserved. Mikey, anything to add on the goal?
Just Broadhead at his best, and he's done that a couple of times in the last couple of games where he just finds the pockets. In that Arsenal away game, whenever we got ourselves into the final third, which wasn't often, let's face it, we just miscontrolled the ball, or we played a bad
third.
A bad touch. Yeah, middle third. We'll call it the upper middle third.
6-yard box.
There'd be a bad touch or a bad little dribble, and Broadhead, he knows where the defenders are, and he'll just change the direction. I think Broadhead might be one of those players. I talked about it in pre-season. Some players will find that they're even better in the Premier League, or they're just as good. I think with Broadhead's skill set, I don't think it really matters that it's the Premier League, because he didn't have it. If you're just doing a flat race with Championship defenders, Broadhead's slow. It doesn't make any difference if he's up against Premier League defenders. But that quick change of direction and the look for a pass, he's just so positive every time he gets the ball. But one criticism of Broadhead over the last couple of years, and this is even including in League One, now and again he will go very quiet in a game, and that hasn't happened yet. So let's just enjoy him while he's in this sort of rich vein of form, because he's definitely adding something different to our attack.
I don't think you needed to criticise him there, Mikey. Not today. Not on the day of laughter.
It's hurt his feelings, Mikey. Now
I know. I'm more mate. I'm on the bloody internet talking about football. My skin's a bit thicker than that, don't you? Actually, Mikey knows that's not true, doesn't it? I just ignore the comments these days. But there you go, Mikey. We see it out to half time. What's Kieran McKenna going to be saying to his teammates about the first half, and conversely about the second half?
Yeah, I more of the same, really. Maybe preparing the players for what's going to come from Fulham, which is another number 10 coming on the pitch, and Emil Smith-Rowe, more of a dribbler than the other ones that they had on, and obviously Pereira's going to come on as well. So it's probably just keep concentrating and yeah, let's try and hit them on the break, and maybe just trying to pinpoint a couple of things like Delap if he can have a run at Bassey, and yeah, probably more of the same is basically what most of it would have been. But yeah, let's be ready when Fulham throw the kitchen sink at us, because they did, didn't they? They ended up with 2 centre forwards on the pitch and about 4 number 10s.
Just quickly going back to the first half, we ought to mention that Trevor made a point there about the Davis challenge and the possible shout for a red there.
Denial of an obvious goal scorer. I think he touched it quite far ahead of him, which then brings Walton into the game. I think, Dave, with my rule book, if he gets a better touch there, then it might have been a denial of an obvious goal scoring opportunity there. Do you agree with that, Dave?
Yeah, I think perhaps you're right. I think it was Wilson. Was it Wilson who was streaking through? I can't remember again. Wilson, I think so. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it looked bad. I mean, it was just cynical, and he just absolutely stepped across him. But I think you're right. He did push the ball slightly ahead. You might have made Walton favourite for that, which may have saved his bacon there.
Wilson with the touch of Michael Smith. Not this Michael Smith. But by the way, did you see Michael Smith's goal for Sheffield Wednesday at Portsmouth? It was a beautiful thing. But yes, nice bit of first half housery that, Dave. I've got the first half stats up on FootMob here. 72% possession to Fulham and 8 shots to 2. But hey, Fulham 0, Ipswich 1, Dave.
Like to see it. Nothing wrong with that at all. Thoroughly professional performance. And as Mikey said, McKenna would have been delighted with that half time and said, more of the same, boys. Absolutely more of the same.
Yeah, so Dave's right, Mikey. Smith-Rowe, who's a lovely player, comes in. You're going to see Pereira and Muniz on the 63rd minute coming in. Do you want to kind of take us up towards the equalising goal? And God, I hate talking penalties on the podcast. And we've got to talk about 3 of the effers.
Yeah, and in my head, I can't picture this one. It's Morsey, isn't it?
It was
rubbish. Quite a good direct run from Harry Wilson, who I didn't realise what a ball carrier he can be. Like he really had the bit between his teeth and was picking the ball up from deep and then just running, trying to weave in and out. And yeah, he's got across Morsey, and I mean, if it was another midfielder, I'd wonder whether he even meant to make contact with him. But it's Morsey, isn't it? He has to make contact. Probably thought that he was just outside of the penalty area, or thought he could get away with it.
It's going away from the goal, Mikey.
Yeah, he's going away from goal, and it is so frustrating to look back on, isn't it? Because he's going into that left channel. We've got the centre backs back. No problem there. No real reason for Morsey to step in like that. But hey, how many times does he put his foot in and dig us out of a problem and bring a player down? But yeah, didn't need to do it on this occasion. Raul Jimenez steps up, and you're thinking, wow, like Christian Walton, he's had such a incredible game and a half for us. Is he going to stop this? And Jimenez sort of gives him the eyes, doesn't come.
It's Ivan Toney one, isn't it?
Yeah, and that was frustrating to watch as well, because it ended up right next to Walton, but unfortunately he committed to going the other way, hadn't he?
Yeah.
And then it's 1-1, and you're thinking, how are we going to get ourselves back in front of this one?
Yeah, and Mikey's right, Dave. We don't need to, add the context that Sam Morsey's been utterly immense for us for a couple of years, but it's a silly one, isn't it?
I mean, it's just unnecessary, and obviously VAR is going to pick that all day long. And I have a bit of sympathy for the ref there, because it was such a. If you see it in real time from where we saw it, first of all from the the camera view, it really doesn't look anything. And then when you saw the playback from the angle, it's just, what's the word? Impetuous. It's a weird one, and it's just no need. It just almost casually flicks his foot out at him. It's not a challenge as such, is it? It's just an invitation really to make contact. And yeah, he's going to go down. And yeah, I don't think we've got any complaint to that at all. As you quite rightly said, the frustrating thing about that was he was going diagonally across the box, not towards goal, which we'd dealt with all afternoon up till then.
Well, I mean, what have we been? We've been Deflection FC and Lucky FC. Are we Liam Delap wins a penalty FC the last couple of games, Dave?
I mean, this is good. This is really good. I mean, we get to him straight away. The ball's launched, standard kickoff, and I think he even wins the first header. And then the ball's sort of partially cleared, I think, and I think it's Greaves does really well in like the second phase then to nick the ball. I don't know, sort of halfway in the Fulham half, but really then have the presence of mind not to slip it down the line, slip it inside the Broadhead, and then this is good again from Broadhead. It's a little disguised pass, that lovely little ball, and it's a penalty, isn't it? Delap sort of chops it back inside. He gets it, squares his man up, chops it back inside. It is a penalty, but kind of unfortunate. The lad is clearly having a swipe at the ball, trying to clear it, mistimes it. And
do you see the ref, Dave? You can see him clearly mouth, he's not played the ball.
No,
that's
not.
what he says as he's given it as his reason.
He's kicked Delap's foot. And you think, okay, well, only took a penalty on Wednesday, buried that quite. Last Monday, buried that quite well. Wonder where he's going.
Well done for knowing what day those two games are on. That's impressive.
I did say Wednesday night, but emphatic, absolutely emphatic. Someone compared him. I know, to Harry Kane, to Danny Murphy several weeks ago, but these two were Kane-like penalties, weren't they? One buried right against Chelsea, one buried in the left corner there, and this one just absolutely side foot venom dispatched in the other corner. Superb, absolutely superb penalty.
If I can do some marketing on behalf of Liam Delap, who doesn't need it, and his agent, I would say it's a cross between Harry Kane, Alan Shearer, and Didier Drogba. Which one, Mikey, was that was more of a penalty than the one against Chelsea, wasn't it? It's a great finish as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it probably was. But yeah, just brilliant composure from Delap again. And I think there's a Fulham fan in the chat who's saying that it was a dive, and no, I'm probably not going to argue with that, because he's seen the contact. He's seen the contact and he's gone down. If he doesn't go down there, Russ, and he won't get the penalty, and everyone will say he's got to go down there. He's got to go down. So it's one of those. It's not nice when it happens against you, but it's good centre forward play from Delap. Bernd Leno, experienced goalkeeper, is trying to psych him out. He's got plenty to say, and Delap's just looking at him and laughing. He just loves the interactions, Delap, doesn't he? And steps up, and fantastic penalty to open up and put it in that corner with that much power. Just brilliant stuff. And a really good recovery in this game. That basically we're going to talk about a couple more chances. We didn't create many chances in this game, but boy, when we did, we were pretty clinical, pretty lethal. Nathan Broadhead very nearly put us 2-0 up as well, didn't he? Fantastic. Was that for 2-0 or was that
2-0. That was a great save.
Yeah,
that is
really good strike
save.
from him, and Leno makes a fantastic save.
Yeah.
So really purposeful when we did get into the final third this time, which we have to be if we're going to play this more conservative approach away from home.
I saw a great comment from Delap when someone asked him post game about the Chelsea penalty, obviously his first penalty for us. Were you nervous? Said no, I was excited. It's great, isn't it? That's just, well, he's 21 and he's just no nerves at all.
Strikers are like penalty 0.77 xG, free shot,
Absolutely
goal
cold,
from
mate. Cold.
12
Absolutely
yards.
cold.
Give me them goals. So Liam Delap has played 19 games in the Premier League, has 8 goals and 2 assists. So he's better than a goal contribution every second game. And I mean, we're over the halfway mark. I think he can only, we played 20, so he can only play another 18 games, but could be, if this rolls out and we extrapolate the 10 goal contributions so far, he could be close to 20 goal contribution. 15 goals, 3 or 4 assists, which would be
as you said, enjoy it while he's here.
Yeah, bloody helpful for a team down towards the bottom of the table. Who am I coming to next, Mikey? What happens? What happens after we take the lead?
Well, it feels like we're seeing the game out quite well. Obviously, I mentioned the subs that Fulham had brought on, and that did make quite a good difference. Smith Rowe was making some forward passes, and Muniz had come on and just given a bit more of a presence alongside Raul Jimenez. Adama Traore's come on over the right and given Leif Davis something to think about. But with Fulham going for it, it does open up the opportunity for some counter-attacks. And we had one down the left where Jack Clarke and Leif Davis are both going for the ball, and in the end, Leif takes over. Probably, you'd say fair play. Like, Leif is normally really good in those positions, and he goes to lash a shot from quite a tight angle when he probably should have cut the ball across, and he skies it into the away end. And then a few minutes later, we've got Jack Clarke in a good position. That's what we want to see from Jack Clarke. Just run it, cutting in from the left and running straight towards goal, cuts inside, hits a really nice low shot, and it comes back off the post. Leif Davis had overlapped him and got caught quite high up the pitch. And then suddenly you're running with 90 minutes in your legs trying to get back towards your own goal, and the likes of Adama Traore and Muniz and whoever are flying towards our goal. And yeah, it's clever. Is it Jimenez that goes down for the penalty? Yeah.
There's a pass, the pass in there from
Smith Rowe. Yeah, a beautiful pass. Oh. And then it's a simple sort of chop back inside.
A punish you.
Yeah, Leif Davis dangles his foot. Not great defending.
Mikey, that's a great point in the chat. It would actually have been better for that to go wide.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And these are the fine margins.
Hey! There it is.
At least,
this level, Ben. At this level of football.
At this level, Andy Townsend. Dave,
he was the co-commentator.
Was he actually?
By the way, for World Feed, yeah.
I'm sure you've worked with him.
Hinchcliffe was on
Sky. Very fine commentator, no doubt. Dave, I was in rehearsal, so I couldn't see the game. I watched it since by whatever means. And at least I think this was the most penalty of all the 3 penalties. At least if you're gonna get an equaliser of a last minute penalty, you don't want it to be a dodgy penalty.
Yeah, I felt for Davis. You feel for Davis, Peter's saying, but it just run again, another 80-yard lung-busting run back, and it got back. Perhaps the frustrating thing, he had got back, but it's really clever play, as Mikey said, from Jimenez. He sort of squares him up, then chops back while he's sort of off balance. Clever play, and yeah, he just Dangles just stands his ground, but he goes over his leg. It is a penalty. Yeah, you can't argue with that one. And this was a really good penalty, to be fair, given the context. This one was really good. I thought, he might hit the bar. No, he's hit the roof of the net. Another stuttering, mega, 10-yard run up, isn't it? But yeah, it's a pretty clinical penalty. That as clinical, not with the venom or velocity of a Liam Delap penalty, but yeah, it's a good penalty right in the roof of the net. Welton's got no chance. Who I thought again, Welton did what he had to do. I thought he did well again today. However, what we should say, there was just time for a brain fart moment from Jack Taylor, which, oh my God, I don't know if you picked up on that, Mikey, did you, from where you were?
Yeah, quite a sharp intake of breath when he Jack Taylor had come on and was playing really well. Such a positive midfielder to bring off the bench. We'd kind of maybe hadn't tweaked the formation, but we ended up with more midfielders on the pitch and less wingers. And Taylor was just sort of trying to run that right channel and add an extra body in the middle and an extra physical presence because he's a big, strong lad, isn't he? And yeah, he did well, some nice passes, but yeah, a very casual pass back towards Christian Walton. And it was one of those, Ben, where it could very easily have ended up at the feet of a Fulham attacker. But Walton, to his credit, was switched onto it, wasn't he? And what I'll give Walton credit for this again today. His kicking isn't always perfect, but he doesn't miss-hit clearances as much as Muric does. He gets backspin on the ball, gets the ball safe, and yeah, takes the pressure off a little bit. And that's not to say that Muric isn't a good goalkeeper. No,
not at all. If it just looks, what I've said, these last two games, it just the whole back four, back five, or any want to call him, just looks more confident with him. Maybe he just talks, communicates better. Maybe that's what it is. But it just looks a lot more. Not so much of that going on, is it?
Well, Dave, you and I haven't been on since Christian Walton came in, and we've kind of sat here and look. We know less about football than Kieran McKenna, and we don't see the guys train. But we've sort of kind of sat here and said, I don't really see that he'll take Muric out. And
I didn't think so.
Yeah, he's got those two knowledge advantages over us, but. He's been brave and done it, and fair play to Walton as well.
To be fair, we sat here with Joe last Sunday, said exactly the same thing, and again after we were it was the review of the Arsenal game, and he didn't do a lot wrong against Arsenal, did he? I don't think he had quite a good game against Arsenal, coming for crosses, etc. And we last Sunday we said, I just can't see it. But mate, fair play to Walton. He's come in and grabbed the chance with excuse the pun, with literally with both hands.
There it is, Dave. Mikey, where are we on the late goals FC ledger here? Because we had one go for us at Southampton.
Wolves,
we had one go against us at Brentford. We had one go very badly against us against Leicester. We had two go against us against Bournemouth. If you just wait, I'll just say all of them.
Sorry.
We had one go very much for us against Wolves, and this one's gone against us. Does it even itself out by the end of the season, Mikey?
Well, no, probably not, because
we're down, aren't we? On the averages,
law of averages, we're going to concede more because
we are.
Because we're a team with a losing record in the Premier League, so it's going to happen in these games, but it's nice to at least be scoring the goals to be taking the lead in these games. I'd rather. I mean, maybe this is nonsense, but 0-0 away from home, you think, oh yeah, but where are the goals going to come from to keep us up? Whereas 2-2, it's like we found a way to score 2 goals. And although we didn't create loads of chances today, as I mentioned, the chances that we did create were good chances, and we were pretty clinical. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but I don't think we're quite late goals FC. That was the first one in a few weeks at least, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was another quote. We forgot about that. It was another really more than a half chance, I thought, for Smodics in the second half, wasn't it, from a Davis cutback in that sort of Chaplin role where I think Bassey just got across it and he sort of scuffed it. That was a pretty good chance. But no, it's
I've just realised I've done 2 shows on Fulham who have a player called Bassey and not done my amazing Shirley Bassey impression. Here's a word from our sponsors at Atwell.
Blue Monday is proudly brought to you in partnership with our friends at Atwell Solicitors, your ideal legal partner for work on property or business law. Their client care has repeatedly been recognised as outstanding, and they are people-focused with a plain English approach which sets them apart. They have offices in Ipswich, Colchester and London, and to find out more, head to atwells.com.
Right, we will do the Premier League roundup in just a jiffy, but we have to talk about one Benjamin Godfrey. If anyone can look up his middle name, if we can get a Kiefer Roberto Francisco Moore type situation. And the good thing about being on the internet, Mikey, is people can hold you to account for things you've said in the past. So let me be very honest. We saw the breakthrough of Ben Godfrey, didn't we, in a East Anglian derby for Ipswich against Norwich, where all of a sudden they ended up with Jamal Lewis, Max Aarons, and Ben Godfrey as their back four, which were then utterly brilliant in taking them up to promotion. And I've got to admit, I always thought Aarons was the best player, but we talked a lot about Premier League physicality, being a centre half that size who did have experience playing in midfield, they managed to cash in on Godfrey and keep Aarons and Lewis a bit longer. I think then Lewis did the Premier League possibly, and then Aarons obviously stayed a while longer, didn't he? But Mikey, what is your take on ex-Norwich, and he came through at York City, if you remember, player Benjamin Godfrey? Has anyone got his middle name for me in the chat, please?
Did Godfrey play for Shrewsbury under Paul Hurst as well?
He did. Yeah, he did.
Did he? I was at that playoff final. I might have seen it with Dean Henderson and Carlton Morris as well, yeah?
Yeah, so you saw him even before that, Ben.
I didn't realise. I've been to a lot of football matches, Mikey, and I'm at the age now where I've forgotten a lot of football matches, even ones at Wembley. Oh, there you go. Thanks, Rich. Benjamin Matthew Godfrey.
Yeah, so
I love it.
Johnson.
But
Calvin Phillips.
He's a player that's gone to Atalanta in the summer, and they're one of the best teams in Europe at the moment.
You're the sort of hipster football fan that probably bloody loves Atalanta, aren't you?
Yeah, no, I'm the sort of hipster football fan that says that I like Atalanta, but never actually
don't know any of their players.
Yeah. Oh no, Lookman.
Oh, there you go.
Knows one less now. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, he's the type of player that we've been calling out for in respects of he has lots of Premier League experience. He's big.
He is actually the BFG.
He is. He's big. He's friendly. He's a giant. No, he has great athleticism, good Premier League experience, and yeah, he's helping bolster a position that's been a little bit of a problem for us at times this season. My initial thought was, oh, do we really need him? But you can't have enough good players in each position. Having Calvin Phillips on the bench is a good thing for us, because that means
it really annoys Joe Fairs though.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about balancing the books, but if you're just looking from a pure football perspective, it's great having a player like that to bring on or bring in when there's suspensions and injuries. And at the moment, I'm loving having Wolfenden playing as sort of centre of a three, and I'm loving that we've got Greaves and we've got Burgess who can come in, and Darrow O'Shea looks great in that RCB position. That is probably Tuan Zabi's when he comes back. So I'm kind of thinking, do we really need Ben Godfrey? But then Darrow O'Shea could get injured this week, and then suddenly we're needing Ben Johnson to play slightly out of position. So yeah, it's so many whiles to get there, but I think it is a really positive move, and happy to have Ben Godfrey with us.
Benjamin Matthew Godfrey. Mikey said, Dave, that he's got good Premier League experience. Obviously would have been abjectly relegated with Norwich and struggling at the bottom with Everton, but that might, I don't know, that might be, useful Premier League experience to be playing for a team.
Would he have played under, would it have been Ancelotti at Everton?
I think he might have got bombed out by
Ancelotti.
Ancelotti.
Liked him.
Oh, he liked him, did he?
Is that when he played for England then? Was he
he was very close to being in the Euro 2021 squad.
A couple of England caps, yeah?
Yeah, that dead season that was behind closed doors that we'll try and forget about. He had a decent season for Everton. And the sky was the limit, really.
I think
but unfortunately, never really kicked on.
And Rio Ferdinand's on his management team and loves to big him up in TNT and BT Sport.
I think someone posted the England side from his debut the other day, and it was
crap.
Strange England side, but nevertheless,
Where does he fit in then, Dave? Because as Mikey says, do you want more good players or less good players? Yeah, you want more good players, but how does he fit in here?
It's going to be so hard, but you'd think you're not going to drop. Well, Greaves left-sided, O'Shea primarily right-sided, playing that right sort of wing-back role. Mikey quite rightly said, you'd think when Tuan Zabi's fit, whenever that is, he'll slot bang into there. So I guess the only real position which would be really hard, because he's played
certain of it, Dave.
What's that? Sorry.
He's covered right back before, and Joe always talks about the hybrid centre back, right back, and Mikey was
height and the height as well. So yeah, it's going to be either that right. It's either going to be that right-sided centre back role, or that right wing, or that right, that fifth, that right wing back role. But it's Yeah, I think it's a great sign. He's still a fairly young player, and let's see where I mean, I think he went for. He went for something like Norwich to Everton. That's when they were
25 million, mate.
25 million. And I think he went for what, 10, 11 million to Napoli. And yeah, no
Atalanta.
Sorry, Napoli, did I say it? Was because you stay, what, at Atalanta. I think he's only had like 5 starts or five appearances sort of thing. But no, he seems, keen to come here, and as it's just another quality player to add to the squad. So yeah, win-win really.
And the fact that he's played a few different positions, Ben, suggests that he's an intelligent footballer. Therefore, Kieran McKenna's probably going to turn him into a well-beater, isn't he? And we'll look back on this. Oh, we were wondering how we were going to fit Ben Godfrey into the team, and he might be one of our best players come the end of the season.
I do know,
I wasn't sure on us signing Darragh O'Shea. I didn't really see the logic in that signing, based on what I saw from him last season and the relegations, and the fact that we seem to have good players in that position already.
He's been
another one.
What I do know about Godfrey, he's quick.
Yeah, Benjamin Matthew Godfrey, and a foreign loan as well, which still gives us some wriggle room. And hopefully, we're starting as we mean to go on, and there may be a few through the door. And Dave, fair play to the game changer fellas again. Like you say, it's 25 million quid, former England squad footballer Benjamin Matthew Godfrey.
Absolutely superb. Can I just throw another one by you then, Ben? Obviously, with your championship hat on. Seemingly quite strongly linked with young Ben Doak, the Liverpool player at Middlesbrough. Comments on him? Anything?
Very tricky right winger. There is a Liverpool tax, obviously, on that. Is he Scottish, Mikey? Ben Doak?
Scottish.
Yes, Scottish lad. I think he's played for the international team. Good fun. Good. Obviously, playing for Carrick. Lots of attacking opportunities, let's just say. Not much defending he would have done, and that would be very different in the Premier League. But I think our chat was saying that, it's difficult with these players that are at the elite clubs. And I know we're sat here saying that when we picked up Liam Delap, which is like the bloody unicorn that you want to get from the elite clubs. But you don't want, as much as I love Rhian Brewster when he was on loan at Swansea, you don't want to be the club that then drops a gigantic. I'm not saying Ben Doak will be like that, but be interesting if we poll, would you rather have Doak or Latte Lath from Middlesbrough? And there's Hadji Wright in there. Josh Madger, his time in to score 2 goals in the game that he played for West Brom at the in the last round or round before last, I think, was rather switched on. So look, it's silly season now, Mikey, isn't it? And I think Joe kind of mentioned it. You sign the best players you can, and the ones that are going to, go straight into a middling Premier League team are probably off the books for us, aren't they?
Yeah, and we just have to put our trust in Mark Ashton and Kieran McKenna, because let's face it, we say they haven't put a foot wrong. They certainly haven't in January windows, have they? The last 2 January windows have been fantastic. Although obviously the one last year was difficult. It went to the final day of the window. Hopefully that doesn't happen to us again in the centre forward position, because that was the one with Kiefer Moore. He was the right man to bring in, but we needed Enezu now to sign for Bournemouth, and that got pushed back until the end. And yeah, you worry that one's going to drag on through January, but fingers crossed. Liam Delap's still fit, so yeah, we're still in a good position, even if we can't bring in players until
what are you laughing at, Dave? Are you going to talk about getting rid of McGoldrick, Selina, Garner, Waghorn, Webster, all in the same window?
Yeah, honestly, you can't forget they came. McGoldrick scored 2 more for Notts County yesterday.
How old is he?
Scoring goals. Oh my God!
Someone tell us in the chat how old Dave McGoldrick
He's got to be 36, hasn't he? Maybe
37. What a player!
Both in their 30s. So
love.
Right. Anyway, I'm literally 13 minutes behind where we should be on the format. So here comes, in association with Innovation Labs, your Premier League roundup. Thank you, as ever, to the wonderful, wonderful people at Innovation Labs. Thank you to Atwells as well. And, Dave can't do the pointing thing now because we're on a different view, but down to, there you go. Thanks, Rich. If Dave points below and embarrasses himself by you, that's all right. I'll say
that's not bad. I've got my pointy pencil.
He's going with his point. So all you ever needed to do that, you just needed to be holding a pen and you'd nail it. That was it. Pen behind the ear. Pen behind the ear.
Yeah.
If you don't know that, that's not going to be
Is it
funny.
a torch or is it a banana?
Was
Go
that
look it up on
Jeremy
YouTube.
Vine, Ben?
That's it. Yeah, Jeremy Vine, the cycling
Jeremy.
guy. Yeah. We're going to get loads of people who think that's not a joke and think we just don't know. David Golding, 37. There we go. One-stop badges. I was going in a roundabout way too. Right. What's gone on here this in game week 20? Spurs 1, Newcastle 2. We probably don't care. Villa 2, Leicester 1 is rather helpful, and we are above Leicester now. Bournemouth 1, Everton 0 is very helpful. Palace 1, Chelsea 1 is pretty helpful. Man City 4, West Ham 1. Southampton 0, Brentford 5. That's a poor start by the new Saints manager. Do you know? Can I test you? Do you know the name of the new Saints manager? Either of you?
Muric.
I think it is.
That's what he's doing now. He's not playing in goal for us anymore. Like Brighton 1, Arsenal 1, don't care. Liverpool 2, Man United 2, don't care. Who do you want to talk about? Should we talk about the people we're chasing here? Because I like this. Wolves play Forest tomorrow night. Southampton crap. Yes, indeed, in the comments. Talk to me, Mikey, about Everton. My sincere hope, and I know Schadenfreude is not an attractive quality in anyone, but I'm going to exhibit it right now. Kind of hoping the freaking people will make a silly decision, sack Sean Dyche, bring in, I don't know, Walter Zenga, then sack him, bring in Sam Allardyce, and Everton will score another 9 points between now and the end of the season. But they lost at Bournemouth.
Yeah, they did. And yeah, not a huge shock, that one. But yeah, Everton, every time I watch them and every time I watch their highlights, Jordan Pickford is the most busy man on the pitch. And
they've won the same amount of games as we have, Mikey.
Yeah, I mean, they've drawn, obviously, they've drawn quite a few games, and that's mostly down to the brilliance of their goalkeeper. Jordan Pickford just keeps bailing them out time and time again. They just don't have many goals in them, Ben. And Breuer, we talk about our transfer business. We wanted Armando Breuer. He's just about managed to get himself fit. Finally, he's got himself in the team, and he's injured himself kicking the ground yesterday. So
I thought you were going to say he's a cross between Kane, Drogba, and Shearer, Mikey.
And that's not good technique.
Obviously,
bad technique.
That's Lars Toure technique.
Lars Toure's got a move.
He took the corner flag out, didn't he, Dave? Bless him.
Probably
not even his most embarrassing moment at Ipswich either.
Probably not.
But yeah, even with a sprinkling of Ipswich sort of stardust and Kieran McKenna stardust, Breuer would have turned out to be a really bad signing. So we dodged a bullet there as it stands. And yeah, Everton, they've got this habit, Ben, of getting themselves into these predicaments, but then when the chips are down and they really need to get a win,
and they've got that Goodison closing down thing to leverage as well, Mikey.
That could add even more pressure. But
well, that's true.
I'd back them. The next really big game that they have, they'll probably get 3 points and they'll
win 1-0 in the 83rd minute. Yeah,
but it's nice to have more teams in the picture.
Man, Everton have been doing it for like 30 seasons since Barry Horn. Do you remember Barry Horn's rocket that kept them up last?
Wasn't that a little bit dodgy with the Wimbledon keeper, allegedly?
Oh, allegedly Hans Sagers. Just going back a little bit, Ben, I'm slightly hopeful this other player that you mentioned that I haven't heard with link with Schadenfreude. Who's he played for?
Kevin Schade of Brentford. Yeah. I know. I was trying to get a little bit clever then, but I probably used the word out of context and mispronounced it. That's normally
I don't think you did at all.
My double whammy, Dave. Dave, I was speaking earlier in the show about the floor and the ceiling, and I mean, when you look at that 4-point gap there between Palace and Everton, it is 4 positions, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I just think Palace have got enough, I just think, I tell you the team that, and he's out, and I don't know how long he's out for, but you think they'd do some business in the window. Is West Ham. All right, I'm talking about Jared Bowen, who's cracked the bone in his foot and stuff. I mean, they are very, very, very reliant, I would say, on him. I mean, look at their goal difference there. I mean, I know they got, obviously, last couple of the games I've taken big old 5 against Arsenal, wasn't it? And 5 against Liverpool and 4 against City yesterday. But yeah,
Dave, are they really going to? They got 23 points and 8. Are they really going to score fewer than 12 points in the last 18 games?
What I'd say about West Ham, Dave, and obviously you know a lot about them. You've got a lot of mates who support West Ham, but They've got Kudus, they've got Fulkrug scoring goals. They got Paquetá, they've got those players, and they do win games. Like they go on 4 or 5 game losing runs, but then they'll win 2. And if you can just win a couple of games, you keep yourself out of it. And I fully expect West Ham to do it. Good point for Man United today. Looks like they're edging towards safety, Ben.
That's a game and a half. That was. I'm just, you're just trying to looking at teams who might.
I know, Dave, but look how.
I think you're probably
realistically, when you're looking at the 33 to 36, 37 on a difficult season, they'd have to be so bad.
You think so?
Yeah, exactly. Tricky. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Please now get your questions in via the comments for Dave and Mikey to round this out. Stick a Q before and a question mark afterwards to help me find them in the chat. What do we got coming up? Predictions. Well, we'll try and get the predictions onto a sensible day again. Obviously, Mikey is a new parent, so he doesn't, let alone what day it is. He doesn't know what time it is, what he's doing, when he's next changing the nappy. So Mikey and I'll figure that out later in the week. It says here Friday, we're going to have an FA Cup special for Town men and women's games. That will be a pre-record, and we will be back on Sunday with the Flagship show. If there's big transfer action, obviously we got caught. Look, in the summer, it was ridiculous. We seemed to spend 20 million every second day or something, didn't we? And did the review. So we'll try and jump on those as and when we can, guys. If there's big news, obviously, we'll try and get in front of that. Get your questions in. Here we go. There's a nice controversial one from Toffee Crisp. Do you want that, Dave, or do you want nothing to do with that? Shall I give it to Mikey?
No, yes, I'll answer that. No.
Well, let me read it first. Has the time come to replace Morsey with Phillips?
Yes, it has, Ben. I'm gonna do this one, Dave, because our next fixture is Bristol Rovers at home. So a bit, but I'm being a bit flippant there, but a good chance to get 90 minutes in Calvin Phillips, and then there is a decision to be made there, because he clearly sees it as it's Morsey and Kayusti, and then it's Kayusti or Taylor, and it's Morsey or Phillips, right? So for Phillips to come in, it's going to have to be ahead of the captain. And personally, I don't see it happening, but Morsey picked up another yellow card today, so that it will be a 3-game ban, won't it? When he reaches 10 yellows, he's almost certainly going to do that. So Phillips is going to get a run in the team. He might, like Kayusti, might get rested, and they might put Phillips in alongside Morsey again at some point as well. So he's looked good the last few times that he's played, Calvin Phillips. But yeah, it's unfortunate for him that the position that he's going for belongs to the captain, because although obviously a silly mistake from Morsey today and not his best game, but he's still the leader out there. He's such an important player for us.
And Mikey, can you say a big thank you to Andrew Galbraith? Sorry, Andrew. Let us know if you got a preferred pronunciation of that name, and if I butchered it, I probably did. And Andrew, with $10 of some description, thanks for a great first half of the season. Yol, which makes me think they're American dollars.
American,
Mikey.
Could be Canadian. Yeah, thanks, Andrew. That's great. Nice one.
Yeah, tremendous stuff. Martin, can Wilson be charged post-match for calling the ref a cheat?
Yeah,
probably not. If they missed it in the,
I think anyone's going to lip read it now. I think he called him a effing cheat. I think.
Effing and jeffing.
I think someone's a bit pointy as well. But yeah, no, that wasn't a good look, mind you. Marco Silva, I think, was pretty much doing the same to the fourth official at the time. Yeah, no, that wasn't a good look. But yeah, we'll wait and see whether he can be charged. I have no idea.
Nick. Should Davis have curbed his attacking tendency once Traore? We have this debate so much. I tend to think that complaining about Leif Davis for being caught out is like complaining to a skiing instructor for getting snow on his clothes. Do you know what I mean?
Did you come up with these?
I just made it up just then. I mean, Nick will appreciate it. It's a great analogy, isn't it? No, you're going to get snow on your clothes, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to get cold. That's the deal.
A ski instructor probably just gets snow on his skis, wouldn't he? Well, maybe.
Well, I suppose he's probably some splash.
Probably very proficient at skiing.
Dave, anyway. We're talking. This is a Stoke and a Chantry talking to each other. I've never been bloody skiing, have I? Jesus Christ! I bet Penny Smith has.
Went on me sledge at Christchurch.
I've got family in Finland, Ben. I had to.
Oh, it's the family in Finland card.
Yeah,
there,
yeah. I've never been to the Alps or anything like that. I'm not quite that posh, but yeah, I guess it'd be like telling a personal trainer not to flirt with his female clients, wouldn't it? It's what he's in it for, isn't he? He's there to attack. And I'm somebody that when I play, even if we are 2-1 up, I'm still going to keep flying forward because if you can nick a goal, the game's over, isn't it? And there's no guarantee that they're going to score just because you've been further up the pitch. And if you keep retreating, more balls are going to come into our box.
No, it was down to him. He made
not the answer I was expecting.
And he made a brilliant interception to set Clark's chance up, didn't he? He nicked in front of Troy.
It's the yin and the yang, isn't it? Dave from Paul, who goes in goal for the FA Cup?
Yeah, if he's fit, I'd probably would give Slicker a start, wouldn't we? I guess if he's fit.
City Slicker. Yeah. Dave will give the definitive answer to this, Mikey. Who's the best ex-budgie to play for Town? Is it John Dean?
Well, it's not Ian Crook. He didn't quite.
Brandon Williams.
Brandon Williams is a shout, and it's probably
Liam
not
Gibbs.
Andy, it's probably not Andy.
Liam Gibbs ever actually play for us?
Well, it's got to go the other way. Sure.
Alan Lee.
John Dean, though.
Or does it always the wrong way around?
The other way, though. Yeah, John
enough.
Dean. Yeah, probably John Dean's not a bad.
Dixie Dean, Dave.
Dixie Dean. Yeah, not a bad shout. That.
Clive Baker, says Trevor.
Saw him in the Greyhound last Monday for the Chelsea game. There you go, with Chris Kiwomya.
Double name drop. Just punched in the face by that. I thought I'd stolen the show with that ridiculous skiing analogy, and then Diamond
I uppercut him with Clive Baker
dropping
and
Baker and Kiwomya willy-nilly throughout the end of this. Willy effing nilly. Deary me. Mikey, do you believe we can finish above one of Wolves, Palace or Everton?
Yes, I believe that we can finish above Wolves. That's going to be my prediction. We're going to finish 17th ahead of Wolves, Leicester and Southampton. There you go.
I love that. Shall I just stop Norman's question after 4 words there, David? Assuming we stay up.
Yeah, leave it there.
We all are. What area of the pitch needs strengthening to allow us to dominate the ball? I think that's a leading question, isn't it, Norman? Come on.
Yeah, well, probably it's going to be the standard, isn't it? Midfield and probably certainly up front. Unfortunately, if that happens after we lose, well, maybe not. Actually, staying up, maybe we don't lose Liam Delap, but yeah, you'd think it's going to be midfield again, isn't it?
Our good friend Bits, what face cream is Mikey using? Because he's glowing. This is the only reason Mikey's here.
Mikey.
He's more younger and more handsome than the rest of us. He brings down the average age and up the average handsomeness level. But he's about to experience the world of parenthood and the grey hairs and the bags under his eyes. He'll look like me very, very soon and not cut his hair first.
Mike, I wonder, have you had any of those toxic nappies yet? The toxic ones?
No, I don't.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. That toxic comes dripping over
green
me.
Ones. Ooh.
There's some Britney Spears for you, Chris Kiwomya and Clive Baker. This is getting competitive, this podcast now. Chris Rand, Dave. The last 2 seasons have seen us in promotion battles requiring unprecedented, great word, points totals. Could we be involved in another ridiculous finish?
Chris,
No, it won't be that many. Although Chris maintains nobody gets relegated on goal difference. Stop the clocks now. We're getting relegated on goal difference. I know there's a game in hand.
Chris, stop that now. I can't believe it's going to be 40 points. If it's 40 points, that is a stretch for us. That will be a real stretch for us. And I hate to say if it is 40 points or more. Yeah. Although, again, that's going to be a stretch for anybody at the bottom 4, isn't it? So who's to say we won't? But it's not going to take that much, surely.
What nationality was Bart, our old keeper? Was he
Polish?
Polish.
Okay, so I'm going to answer FBL Tractor's question. Which current Town player, who's a former player, would be the best skier? Bartosz Białkov ski, which in Polish means very good skier. Okay. We got any Polish listeners? Don't question me on that one. Guys, I've really, really enjoyed it. I'm a little bit hyper. So I've really, really enjoyed it. Mikey, I know you've got more important things to worry about, but really positive couple of games to talk about. Yeah,
brilliant. And we probably didn't see the results coming because of the quality of the opposition, but I think that the Arsenal performance maybe steadied the ship, sort of stopped the bleeding, Dave. We got a half from that game. Although we didn't get a draw, but we got a half to stop the bleeding. We were 3 holes down, and we've now managed to get ourselves back to just 2 down, and we've still got to get onto the last 8 holes of the round.
Level was so high.
It's just flying over Ben's head. It's
dropping now, isn't it? It's
flying over his head. Well, when you think about it, for going up to when how many minutes have we gone without conceding? So we didn't concede after. When did Arsenal score? Was it 25? So we didn't concede for the rest of that game. We didn't concede for the whole of Chelsea game. We didn't concede till 69 today. So that's a hell of a lot of minutes. So we're obviously heading in.
And we've scored 4 goals in 2 games as well, which is brilliant as well. So we're looking solid. I think we were unfortunate to concede 2 today for the way that we defended overall. And yeah, we're managing to find goals, and not just Delap as well.
There you go. Brilliant stuff, Mikey and Dave. We'll see you on Mikey and I'll be back at some point. Oh, no, actually, we don't have to. It's FA Cup, so it won't be this coming week. It'll be the next week with the Premier League predictions. We'll get back into the groove, as the great Madonna said. But yeah, I'm kind of nicely positive. It was Fulham 2, Ipswich Town 2, second Desmond between the two sides this season. And this has been Blue Monday, an Ipswich Town podcast. Laters.